In our last fighting game mechanism video, we talked about how attacks can have frame advantage and disadvantage when it interacts with opponents. In this video, we will use that knowledge to learn a technique called Meaty attacks to increase frame advantage when hitting an opponent. If you have not seen our previous video, we highly recommend looking at it before checking this one out. Link will be in the cards and description. As a basic review, if a player lands an attack on his or her opponent, there will be a situation where both players are put in a state of recovery. The attacker will be recovering from the attack, and the opponent will be recovering from the stun. Whoever recovers first will have frame advantage. For example, Street Fighter V's Chun-Li's forward heavy kick is -2 on block since she recovers 2 frames slower than the opponent. Now, for some fighting games, block or hit stun from an attack is a constant number. So in case of Chun-Li's forward heavy kick, the block stun is a constant 30 frames. You might ask, why should we care? We know it's -2 on block. In a normal situation, that will always be the case. However, a player can create a situation where the frame advantage is better than -2. Let's see how this can be done. First thing, we have to realize that most attacks in fighting games have more than one active frame. In the case of Chun-Li's forward heavy kick, there are 5 active frames. Since the block or hit stun in Street Fighter V is a constant number, this means that the later the opponent gets hit in the active frames, Chun-Li will recover faster relative to the opponent. So in a normal situation, forward heavy kick will hit the opponent on active frame 1 and result in a 2 frame disadvantage. But if we hit the opponent on active frame 2, the result will become -1. If we hit on active frame 3, it will be 0, and so on. Hitting opponents later in the active frames of a move results in better frame situations. We call this a meaty attack or hit. So now the question becomes, how do we hit in the later active frames of an attack? One way to do this is to attack while an opponent is recovering from an invincible state. For example, in Street Fighter V, if you knock down an opponent with an attack, you are not allowed to further hit them while they are on the ground. They only become vulnerable once they get up. We'll use this to our advantage and time forward heavy kick so that they will get hit by the later active frames. You can see here where the kick hits on active frame 5 and the frame advantage is increased to +2. As a side note, the example here is showing a whiffed crouching light punch in order to time the meaty forward heavy kick. Without it, it may be difficult to properly time a meaty attack. This technique is often referred to as frame kill. The great thing about meaty attacks is that it can give certain moves potential to create powerful block strings or combos. For example, since forward heavy kick is -2 on block in a normal situation, opponents may be tempted to press a button after blocking. Let's say Chun-Li presses her fastest attack, crouching light kick, after forward heavy kick. We'll have the opponent Cammy press an equally fast button, crouching light punch. In a normal situation, Chun-Li will get counter hit after the forward heavy kick. However, after doing a meaty attack that hits on active frame 5, Cammy is counter hit instead due to the shift in frame advantage. Another example would be forward heavy kick on hit. If forward heavy kick hits on active frame 1, it will put Chun-Li at +2. Since her fast move has a 3-frame startup, she cannot combo this move on a normal hit. However, by hitting the move Meaty, frame advantage can be increased to a max of +6, allowing her to combo into attacks such as crouching medium kick. As you can see, meaty attacks can have great potential. Just remember that some games may not have constant block or hit stun, and is changed based on situation. So experiment and see what works for you. We hope you found this video helpful. If you have any other fighting game mechanisms you want us to cover, let us know in the comments below. If you like our content and want to continue seeing fighting game related videos, consider helping us out on Patreon. There will be links in the description and ending screen of this video. Before we end this video, we want you to know that we developed a website called leapdojo.com for finding players and events based on games and location. For example, if you are looking for Guilty Gear Xrd players in Los Angeles, California, just type it in our search bar and find players in that area. You can even search based on skill level and characters you want to play. We still have a small player base, so you may or may not find someone in your immediate area, but if you could register to grow the community, that would be greatly appreciated. Alright, till next time, have fun playing those fighting games.